Good afternoon, Patriots, and welcome to another edition of Quarantime. Shout out to Craig Mason's Reasonable Conversation channel. Shout out to all my mods. Shout out to all the viewers and listeners who are here today. Thank you all so much for joining us. Do us a favor, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you feel so moved, don't forget to share this broadcast on your favorite social media platform. We love you all so much. So happy we get to spend the 2 o'clock hour every day with several thousand of my favorite Patriots. I see people here from all across the United States, all across the globe. You guys are awesome. Thank you, Kathy. I see many people celebrating 420. Don't drink, don't smoke myself, but whatever you guys want to do, that's up to you. Not going to judge you for it. I'm pumped, guys. I got my coffee. I got my vape. And I got my buddy, my co-host, Methods. He's here too, as always. Thank you to Northlake for joining as a member. Thank you to Redbird. What do you think POTUS had gray hair 3 or 4 days ago? I think he was in between dye jobs, but it could be something more than that. Lots of people speculating. I don't know. We'll talk about it probably. All right, guys, please do me a favor. Sit back and relax. Grab that popcorn. And we'll be right back after a brief word from our sponsor. Stephen King once wrote, "Panic is highly contagious, especially in situations when nothing is known and everything is in flux." Well, the world we live in today is in flux, and it's filled with a flood of information that's often as much gossip as fact. Now, that makes it hard to know what the situation really is, and it also makes it easy for people to panic and make bad decisions. The only way not to get caught up in that chaos is to have a plan allowing you to avoid dealing with empty store shelves, long lines, and in the worst case, desperate people. Use today to prepare. A great place to start is storing food in your home, and I'm prepared myself, and I even ordered more recently. Now, the experts at My Patriot Supply have told me that orders have now reached about 100 times the normal volume, and they're shipping on a first-come, first-served basis. With this unprecedented emergency, orders are being delayed, sometimes 8 weeks or more. I urge you to add your order to mine today, because the sooner you order, the sooner you can get your purchase. Take action so you're ready for what's coming and save $70 on a 2-week emergency food kit when you go to my special website, preparewithredpill78.com. Those that know what's coming are preparing today. Go to preparewithredpill78.com. Once again, that's preparewithredpill78.com. And remember, when you support my sponsors, you support this channel. Thanks for sticking around, guys, and welcome to another edition of Quarantime. Joining me, as always, is my co-host and friend in life and research, Methods. How are you, brother?
Doing good, man. How you doing, Red Pill, on this Monday, start of the week, huh?
I'm feeling good. It's nice and sunny. I'm ready to hit the ground running. Another 5 episodes of Quarantime coming up for us this week, God willing, as long as President Trump and the rest of the governors don't get the entire country opened up. But as long as the states that Methods and I are in, we will continue to do this. I'll tell you what, I'll make you a promise. Until every state in the union is open for business, we will continue to do this program, because that means we will have people who are sitting at home waiting for us. Need to say thank you to John Astorius. Hello, Red Pill and fam. Bam. Thank you for that, John. Berserker Bear says, thanks, Red Pill and Methods. Red Bird says, I'm a hairdresser, 32 years now. That was not hair between colors. It was intentionally done, but why? Well, Red Bird, that's interesting. I appreciate that comment. I saw a thread about it by Brian Cates. We'll talk about it in a moment. Behold a Pale Horse says, get my email. I saw that you did email, but I haven't had a chance to read it yet. Anybody out there who is waiting for me to reply to an email. Please do not take it personally if I don't reply, or if I do reply at a late date. I get so many emails, and Red Pill Girlfriend tries to help me when she can, but she does have her own full-time job. She's very dedicated to her career, and I'm the only one who's reading my emails. So that's kind of actually important to me. I know that people will send me personal information, and I don't want people to be afraid to do that, because if I just had some random person reading my emails, who knows what they would find out by reading your email to me. Kim Reese, thank you very much for that. And Trump Be Cool says, I was going to say something else, but my God, the oil prices, you got to talk about that. It has serious meaning. By the way, hashtag we are the revolution. Yes, methods that we didn't even discuss this, but when I looked earlier today, oil was at $3 a barrel. Someone in the chat just said that it's actually down to $1.90. This is for crude. This is the lowest oil prices I've ever seen in my entire life.
Right. I mean, it's definitely low, and with all the stuff that was happening with Russia and who was it, Iran,
Saudi Arabia, too.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia. You know, in the middle of that kind of battle of numbers. It'd be nice. I mean, we haven't ventured out today to see what the gas prices are down here, but it's typically not bad. We kind of get the lower end of the prices and stuff. And just real quick, Michael Cole, yes, I am agreeing to the commitment of doing this quarantine until all 50 states. I know Red Bill spoke on that, but that's fine. But yeah, man, those prices are crazy low. I mean, especially to the numbers before, when people were hitting things like $4 to $6 a gallon during all that crisis. People were lining up and having to choose, you know, every other day you were allowed to go to the gas station and get gas. That's really low, man.
Yeah. I saw somebody in the chat ask about Nasara Gasara. Please remember, guys, this Friday, my friends Deb and Scott are going to be here talking specifically about Nasara. So hopefully, I'm certain that we're going to have a lot of good information to give at that time. Our Cloaked Unseen World says, NAQ&A, Nikola Tesla says, I wouldn't give my rotating field discovery for 1,000 inventions, however valuable, designed merely as mechanical contraptions to deceive the eye and the ear. R&R phones. I don't know what that is, but we'll look into it. Behold a Pale Horse says, all good, homie. Check the new one I'm about to send. Will do, Dana. Thank you very much for the super chat, too.
And Patty, I'll apologize for Red Pill for him turning on your Siri on accident.
What? It happens. It happens. Oh, Crypto Beast says low quality oil from U.S. fracking is much harder and more expensive to refine, and U.S. doesn't have the refining capability. So I need to say hello to Crypto Beast and also say hello to 412 Anon. I saw somebody call him out in the chat earlier. Yeah, gas is $1.56 last time I checked here, but like Method said, you know, I mean, I have no need to drive anywhere. I haven't had to. I am going to be driving this weekend because I'm going to go ahead and sneak out of quarantine here in my state and go visit Real Red Pill Girlfriend, which is going to be an amazing time. Honey, I love you and I miss you. And for anybody who has a problem with me telling my girlfriend that I love her, shove off, okay? You can watch a different show, I guess. And then there was also, some announcements. We have some announcements, Methods. We have a couple of people to say happy birthday to.
Right. A great friend of the channel and personal friend to us, Allie B, it's her birthday today. So happy birthday to Allie B out there. Don't know how old she is, so I can't dox it. But yeah, happy birthday.
Also, my buddy G Money's birthday is today. Want to say happy birthday to G Money. And it's also Patriots Day as well.
Right. It's also another birthday that we won't draw attention to.
Uh-oh. I don't know whose other birthday it is.
Yeah. We'll just move on.
Okay, no problem. All right. Hayden West says a lot of our prices are fixed at being high because our governor hates us. Yeah, there's a too much price fixing taking place in the United States. Like I said yesterday, people in government like to pretend that the United States is averse to corruption and price fixing and monopolies. But the fact of the matter is, it's de rigueur. It is business as usual, unfortunately, here in the United States. And President Trump, luckily, is part of the movement to go ahead and clean all that stuff up, guys. It's not too far away. I do believe this is right around the corner. Hey, Marty Cannon says, hey, RP and Methods, how do we encourage those who are losing faith as far as Durham's investigations? Love you guys. Where we go on, where we go all all worldwide forgotten country. Well, unfortunately, faith is a personal matter. People need to be able to continue to maintain their faith through thick and thin. That's the beauty of it, that belief in something unseen, that faith and that belief in a power greater than yourself. And, there's some people, doesn't matter what we say or what we do, they're not going to be able to hold on to that until they see something concrete. For those people, I tend to believe that they will come around once they witness the physical manifestation of these promises that we've been waiting on. I mean, Methods, do you have any insight on how to get those people back on board?
Well, I mean, I guess when everybody, not everybody, but the whole staking claims to dates on things happening, if that helps everybody, we don't know the exact date, but investigations get started and get paid for. And also, guys, it's not my birthday; it's Allie B's birthday and G Money's birthday. But I appreciate it. You guys can save it for February. But if we're going to talk about dates and all that stuff going on, then Durham, since it's where was I going? The investigation is getting paid for by the American people, right? The taxpayers are paying for Durham's investigation, which means they have to announce when it's over. So you are going to get a date that is going to be an ending. So as far as anybody having doubts, concerns, or whatever, well, why are you getting nervous and concerned when it's not over yet? So that's how I see it. And now, like we've said before, if we get to a point that Durham's like, yeah, everything's cool, it was fine, it's just misinfo by Russian bots, and then it just turns on us for all the stuff that we've been expecting, that's a different conversation, and we'll have no problem covering it then while we lose our minds for all that. But yeah, I mean, as far as the date stuff goes, definitely just wait till Durham starts, being active publicly before you start losing faith in anything.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, the investigation and the findings are an inevitability. I mean, it's been ongoing. So, why lose faith when all we're doing is waiting for this stuff to become public? I mean, it's real. It's there. I point once more to the 160,000 plus sealed indictments that we have just sitting there waiting to be unveiled. It's going to happen. But, unfortunately, as we are not God, we don't know the dates that it's going to actually take place. I mean, obviously, we had John Solomon talking about this week upcoming, now that we're in. Perhaps we could have that. Let's see. I need to say thank you to Navy Vet. Patriots, please pray for Sean at SGT. He attacked me personally on YouTube chat for saying I was praying for his renewed faith in God and Q. Well, that's unfortunate. Yeah, I think that Sean is definitely somebody we should have in our prayers. For no other reason that, necessarily that he's a child of God. And Sean deserves the love and the peace that comes with faith in God and everything that we get along with that. Ken Cook says, hey, guys, hope y'all are doing well. Looking forward to Durham dropping indictments, hopefully in the next couple of months. Ken, I'm even hoping sooner than that. But thanks, buddy. And Mindy Billow, thank you for that. Also, I saw that Atomic 419, I think that was your name in the chat. It was their birthday yesterday. So let's go ahead and say happy belated birthday to Atomic 419. I hope that's it. We do have some talk about dates that we're going to discuss today, but there was a couple of the things I wanted to point to first. First, Anon661 had posted something on Twitter, and it was an Instagram status from Kirsten Dunst. Very curious. Picture of Woody from Toy Story. Of course, we all know who did the voice of Woody. That would be Mr. Hanks. And this is a picture of Woody on the ground, looking deceased, or at least laying on the ground. I mean, Methods, what did you think when you saw this Instagram status from Kirsten Dunst?
I mean, off the rip, trolling us maybe, because they've got to know as much conversations that give, covering all their videos during this quarantine stuff and all that. They've got to know that we, so I put it this way. If I were them, I'd troll us.
Absolutely.
If that's how it were. But with that said, if we are going to take it into some kind of decode world, kind of like Trump's hair, then it would definitely be, Hanks fell. Something's going on here. That's kind of a signal for that. But like I said, it's just something that they could be doing just because they're bored and quarantined as well.
Sure. Now, I saw somebody say they're still waiting on their stimulus check. You guys, I'm putting a link into the chat My mother told me about this over the weekend. If you are still waiting on your stimulus check, you can go to this link and you can check on the status of it. And if they need more information from you, then you can go ahead and put that information in, and then they'll get your check ready for you and perhaps just direct deposit it. So we also have a tweet from our friend Eyes on Q. Found this little bit of tidbit of information here. Mark Zuckerberg says that the lockdown protests are misinformation and Facebook is going to ban the organizers. Now, here's the thing. I mean, if the protests are taking place, how is their status misinformation? I mean, clearly, if they're banning organizers, then that means they are banning people's ability to assemble and put out the notices that these protests are going to take place. And it's not misinformation. They're just trying to put a tamper down on the fact that these organizations are going to be taking place. And if people are banned from Facebook, then they can't put them together. You can't have a Facebook page, or I don't know what they're called, an event, Facebook event, so that people can, connect and then go to them. We're supposed to have I think 23 states, last count that I read, having these organized protests taking place this week. So Mark Zuckerberg is just trying to make sure people can't use Facebook to connect to do it.
Right. And first off, Eyes on Q is a terrific Twitter account. They're followed by a lot of people, but if you aren't following, make sure you do. It's just at Eyes on Q.
I'm going to put the link in the chat.
No, great account. But with that said, you're right. I mean, you take out the leader, the organizer, the person that's part of their skills is event organizing. You take out their account, you take out the information flow and where to meet up. People find out about it. They're trying to stop as many eyes on it, because you see some of these videos, man, it's not just like 20 or 30 people hanging out with a flag or two. It's a lot of people, and they're gridlocking streets and making a lot of noise, and it gets filmed and put on the internet. It's making a huge impact, especially on these governors who are trying to be, dictators.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, we knew censorship was going to just get worse this year, all the way up. I'm surprised, knock on wood, whatever superstition, that we all still have the platforms that we do. And that's the entire movement. Because if they're blatantly saying that it's misinformation about a protest, that is just a protest and it's happening, then what are they going to label to get rid of us,
Yeah, absolutely. And Hulkinator in the chat, big shout out to Hulkinator. He said that the governors of these states requested that Facebook remove this information. And I'm sorry I didn't catch your name, but somebody said, how about this? Stop using Facebook. I absolutely wholeheartedly agree with that. I don't use Facebook myself, and I think it's evil. I think that it's a great idea to get yourself off of there. I think that the very use of Facebook encourages some terrible narcissistic activity and also some real self-loathing among people who look at these, these fake representations of people's lives, and then they get down on themselves because they're not seeing, something like this materializing in their own life. But I'll tell you what, going on Facebook and watching people post these contrived statuses is not a way to increase the quality of your life. Getting off Facebook, that would definitely increase the quality of your life.
Right. And I mean, and I know that the counter argument to that is that's where your families are. That's where your college friends are and all that stuff. And we get that, in this information war, you do need to kind of help and reach them there. But the only reason, like, for example, I'm even on Twitter is because POTUS is there, and that's where a lot of the battle happens. But me and Red Pill really prefer to do like what we're doing now, because you can, speak your mind. It's not a character count and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, this social media is meant to be addictive and also depressing and controlling. So here we are.
Amy D asks why no one talks about Bill Gates. I mean, we've spoken about him like multiple times in just the last week. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else there is to say about Bill Gates. He's been talked about ad nauseum on a number of channels. We touched on the fact yesterday that, or maybe over the weekend, that Lindsey Graham had suggested he be the new head of the WHO. Obviously, that's a bad idea. He's the last person I think I want in charge of any of that stuff. He's not even a doctor. Why would he be running the WHO? Navy Vet, thank you again. Ken Cook, thank you again. Mindy Billow, thank you again. Berserker Bear says something is up with the Auckland Islands. Dropped a thread about it a month ago. Shaped like a key. Ellen with the keys. I don't know. I would definitely need to do more digging into the Aucklands. Alan0601, do you think she's trolling Hanks? Looks like there was a stick shoved in his back. Let me get a better look at that. Well, I mean, it's a tag. It's a tag on the doll. I mean, it's possible. It's possible she could be trolling Hanks. I don't know enough about Kirsten Dunst's, political stance. I mean, I know she's part of Hollywood, but I will say that just because someone is in Hollywood or has been in Hollywood doesn't mean that they're bad people. And this will be a great time just to recommend that everybody tune in this upcoming Sunday for Comfy Sunday, because Corin Nemec is going to be our guest. He was an actor, and I guess he still does independent films and stuff that he produces himself, but he extricated himself from Hollywood, got out of Hollywood because he is fully aware of what's going on there. So we're going to be talking about a lot of that stuff, some of his experiences there, and then we're going to get into some of the deeper esoteric meanings behind what these people do and why. And I think that's an excellent time to bring up let me hit one more, and then I'm going to bring up our big subject for the day. I just wanted to show everybody, you remember that skate park in LA that they filled with sand so that the skaters couldn't come and skate? Well, since they did that, the people in the area showed up with dirt bikes so that they can still use the skate park, which is hilarious. You've got all of these people using dirt bikes there and having a great time. Here's a little bit of video, and it looks like they're even cleaning up some of the sand. I'm going to play this real quick here for you. Think about how much money they wasted filling this park with sand.
And that's not a cool move by any means, but these guys right here were like, okay, you just made our lives easier because the ramps are already there.
Right.
And you've added, the dirt. To me, I'm absolutely ecstatic that they did this. It's just a big middle finger to what they did. It's
hilarious. It's great. All right. So the big subject we wanted to talk about is this time in April. So historically, April 14th through the 20th has been the most tragedy-filled month. And I bet you could extrapolate that to the rest of the world and look at tragedies in general in this time. And they overwhelmingly take place during this week. Now, there's also a deeper meaning to that. I mean, in terms of dates, there is a... Oh, shoot, where did that link go? Let me pull it up from over here. There is some important dates that are during this time. April 19th is the first day of a 13-day satanic ritual relating to fire specifically, and it is giving homage, I guess, to Moloch or Baal. And it's called the 13 Days of Preparation from April 19th to May 1st. Now, there's a larger span of time during this month of April, which is meant to be a time of sacrifice to pay homage to these gods. And I am trying to find, I'm sorry, guys, I thought that I had this pulled up. Here we go. This is from actually Bibliotecapades, but the spring equinox, 13 months from March 21st to April 1st, is specifically a time of sacrifice and worshiping. So April 1st, precisely 13 weeks since New Year's Day. April 19th to May 1st, blood sacrifice to the beast. Fire sacrifice is required on April 19th. So keeping that in mind, I'm sure that everyone is aware of what happened yesterday in Canada. So there was a gentleman, or a guy, we'll say, I don't want to be kind, who dressed up in an RCMP uniform. He also had an RCMP cruiser, and he went on a spree going after people seemingly randomly. Now, the names of these individuals who lost their lives has not been publicized yet. Only the name of this guy, Gabriel something, and an RCMP officer who lost her life in the course of this guy's rampage. But there was initially 17 people who lost their lives. Now the toll is up to 18. But if you take away the person who committed this, Gabriel Wortman, then we're back to 17 victims. Now, what he did was he would set fire to people's homes, and when they would run out, he would use that as an opportunity to take them out. very interesting that it happened on the date that fire sacrifice is required. And the timing was also interesting because it coincided with the lighting of the lanterns in Paul Revere's ride on the 18th, which is the date that his spree began at like 10 p.m. on the 18th. And then it carried on until, like, I believe, like something like 1 p.m. the next day or maybe slightly later. But during that time, he dressed in red as an RCMP officer. On the 19th, that's the anniversary of the battle at Lexington and Concord, the shot heard round the world. And some people were looking for a shot heard round the world yesterday. Well, it could be arguable that that's exactly what happened in Canada. And at the end of the spree, he set 2 police cruisers on fire on a bridge, okay, so over water. And you know, RCMPs wear red coats. So there was a lot of symbolism that tied in with some of the stuff that we're seeing historically, and then also obviously in today's world. And then when you put together with these occult holidays, it makes it even more strange and perhaps, you know, maybe expected. Methods, you got any thoughts on this? And then I want to go through some of the historical tragedies that have taken place at this time.
Right. Yeah. When you look at that list that you're pulling up of all those different things that have happened in this month, you know, and some things I will argue is a coincidence, and certain things I will hate me for it. That's fine. That is definitely not. There's a lot of meaning to it. The fact that this month has so many of these historical tragedies occur. And also just to the point about the fire stuff, I can't remember, I didn't catch in the chat, but they pointed out that John Podesta tweeted out a forest on fire on the 14th. So they're, you know, just once again, just putting another piece out there. But when you think about it, there would be ritualistic in nature that, you know, they follow calendars and stuff, and it's just, it would make a lot of sense for there to be a certain time period where we could see these things happening. So go ahead with your list, man.
Yeah, so on April 19th, 1993, we had the Waco massacre. April 19th, 1995, we had the Oklahoma City bombing. April 20th of 1999, we had Columbine. April 16th of 2007, we had the Virginia Tech incident. April 16th, 2013, we had the Boston Marathon incident. April 18th of 2013, we had the fertilizer plant explosion. If I'm not mistaken, last year on April 9th, was that the date of the burning of Notre Dame?
Let me look that up real quick. That'd be interesting.
Okay, no, I'm sorry. April 15th. It was April 15th.
Well, it's still April, and it's still within a handful of days of each other. So it kind of gets back into that, because even if that's, you know, if we can't tie it specifically to a certain, you know, religious aspect of occult symbolism and stuff, evil does seem to go in patterns in general in the supernatural realm. Yeah. So the ideas of, because I mean, I always want to make sure when we talk about things like people being activated as sleeper cells and stuff, and, you know, clown programs creating these people, to me, I'll always argue there's a supernatural dark force behind it. And that, so the activations of these things, I know people will say, oh, the deep state, you know, activated somebody. We'll take it a step further and say evil activated this, because there is a supernatural battle involved in all this. And it's obviously this time in April is that important to them to do what they're doing. And I'm just interested to see what can be counteracted in that. Like, it would be poetic justice for a lot of good to happen against evil during this month.
Absolutely. Eric Johnson, looks like it's also his birthday today. So happy birthday, Eric. Need to say thank you to Damdar. Thank you for joining as a member. Need to say thank you to Q-Wife Maga Life. Woody is flipped. Oh, that's like actually an astute observation. I like that. Yeah. JT Suited says, don't worry about people losing faith. What's more important is that the sleeping masses keep waking up. And that's an excellent point. I mean, it's happening on a daily basis. New Q59 says, can Trump fire Fauci? If so, why doesn't he? Keep enemies closer. I'm so done with the evil doctor. You know, he can fire Fauci. I mean, he's the commander in chief. But like you said, keep your enemies close, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. I think that there's definitely a point to that. And I think that Trump would want to fire Fauci when it is politically expedient. So he just recently stated, or it was stated, that Trump was told by Fauci and Birx to go ahead and close down the country because of all the people that they expected to expire. Well, that didn't happen. So maybe it's going to come out with this information that the government is investigating regarding that laboratory out east, that there's going to be a bigger disclosure as a result of that. Let's see. Domdar also says on the YouTube channel of Spiros Skouras, there is a new David ICKE interview. Sorry, I don't want to say it out loud because of what happens when he comes into play. David hints at the fact that we are doomed and never once brings up our favorite Anon or President Trump. Is David friendly to the movement? I will say this, he does not like President Trump, and therefore I would imagine that he's not really on board with the movement as a whole. Now, QWife Magalife, thank you again. Trumpet 2020, loved the show last night. Are you planning on having a live debate watching party? Grab your popcorn. Love you guys. I think that's an excellent idea. We haven't talked about it, but I have, streamed certain POTUS events in the past. What do you think, Methods? You want to do a live debate roundtable?
I'm good with whatever, man. I think we need to bring a lot of the people that we like to work with together during these certain events and stuff. I was already going to mention a few dates to you about doing the revolving door show like we did during the Christmas special. Yeah. To do the 30 minutes each with different people and stuff like that. So no, we're going to plan a lot of those things for in the future. And I do just want to say this, Fudwaddle in the chat said, talk about tragedies, married my first wife on April 19th.
Oh, oof.
Right. I'm sorry. I just found that funny, but man, go ahead.
That's great. Let's see. Cindy DeKine, thank you very much for that. Diana Davenport, what's up, Diana? Bill Gates related. Entire Burkina Faso resigns. Is that the government in Burkina Faso? Google story at www top A Afric. The entire Burkina government resigns. All right, we'll go ahead and check that out. I know that Gates is deeply involved with Africa. I recently heard that there was some testing on this new, shot for the sickness that we have, where a whole slew of people passed away as a result of the test. Sue Randall says maybe that's why there's so much military activity in D.C. Very well could be. Hey, Jude. Oh, the 1912 San Francisco earthquake. That's right. Yeah, see, there are so many different things that have taken place during this time in history. Bella Rideau says, did you know the M on Monster are the number 666? Yes, I did. And specifically, that's the reason that I put it on there today, because we were going to be talking about Moloch. I just forgot to mention it. So thank you. Micah D2, anyone look into that Microsoft patent yet? It's nuts. I haven't had a chance to look into it deeply, but I did look at some information yesterday. It is very scary to think that perhaps they could put something like that into action. Hopefully, it doesn't happen. I think that a lot of people would not be interested in doing that. But you got to remember, there's a whole bunch of other people who are going to be just as happy to take that chip. Corey Becker joining as a member. Thank you, Corey. Trump Be Cool says, I worry more FFs come before April is over. Worry, but have no fear. We have God on our side among many, many warriors. Hashtag God wins. You're right. I think this is not the only one that we're going to see this month. I do anticipate there will be more, but like you just said, God's in control, guys. No matter what happens, it doesn't matter. No matter what happens, no matter how deep the tragedy, we're on the right side of this, so don't worry. Yeah, son of a green card. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
Yeah. Tested faith builds stronger character, builds stronger person and stuff like that. We need to go through some of these things at times to, be stronger in the future. I do want to say this real quick. I know you're rolling through. Our friend of the channel, Victoria Gates, says hello in the chat. I want to say hey to her. I believe that we are discussing having her on in the future. Is that correct?
Yes. Victoria is going to be on the 17th of May for Comfy Sunday. So I'll go ahead and announce that early. Thanks, Victoria, for being here. Can't wait to have you on the show and have a comfy conversation with you.
All right, and with that, we have over 5,200 people watching. Thank you guys for hanging out. If you don't mind clicking that like button, and just a side note, thank you everybody who's been showing up on my PayPal. You guys are definitely blessing us. We love you.
Yeah. And if anybody doesn't know where the information is at, I know that the mods drop it from time to time, but if you want to go and help out Mr. and Mrs. M3, the information is in the description of every video, not just Quarantime or Comfy Sunday. So you can always find it there. Son of a Green Card says 1 Kings 18:40 type of biblical. Elijah says the prophets of Baal. I actually want to tie back into that real quick. We often talk about saving Israel for last. Well, guess what, guys? There is history for the cult of Moloch coming out of Israel. Evidence concerning Moloch worship in ancient Israel is found in the legal as well as historical and prophetic literature of the Bible. Could it be that the seat of worship for Moloch is still in existence there? Now, I'm not saying all people in the country, but I'm saying that very easily, in the same way that we have a deep state that has control of a certain area of our government, could be, and most likely is, in the same situation there in Israel, but maybe just with an even darker slant. Now, I think that all of those people are all related in the same way. Obviously, we remember Cheryl Mills' email talking about sacrificing that chicken specifically to Moloch. Actually, it would be very interesting to look at the date on that email now that I think about it. I'll try to pull that up here in just a minute.
What's the over-under on it being in April?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Jerome Morsi, thank you very much for that super chat. Looney Tunes says, Sabrina on Netflix, pure 666, but mainstream. Scary, yes. I saw that on Netflix the other day. I had no idea how deeply the symbolism was just wrought throughout. It is quite literally like a primer for young children to become satanic in their nature. Tectra TA says, oil price going to zero is huge. It's at zero now. Now cost of oil is negative for May. This is a significant milestone that is unprecedented. Just a thought, does anyone need oil when free energy exists? No, we don't. And I really wish that something would be done about that. I mean, there are so many technologies out there that exist which could give us free energy, not only for our homes, but for our cars, for absolutely everything. They could build up the industry and the infrastructure around the delivery of that free energy, and they could still, make sure that people were employed in order to maintain it. Brutus DM says, I can tell you this, Moloch caught them all off guard, and he will catch you off guard too. How do you mean there? That's not a threat, is it?
Right? Did we just get threatened?
you gotta elaborate, Brutus. But Thank you. JG said Fob XLI. Fob XLI. I don't know what that means either. If we can get a okay. TL Spud crude WTI crude at -11 right now, -11. Whoa. So I guess they're just giving oil away, huh? J-Bone says, what do I think of David Wilcock? I don't know David Wilcock personally, and I've seen some information that David Wilcock has put out that I thought was interesting. I've seen others that I didn't think was interesting, but I don't know him personally, and so I don't want to cast aspersions. I don't know him, and I generally try not to talk about other people. Our Cloaked Unseen World says our favorite Anons team is behind this YouTube documentary. Cabal, Deep State, and our favorite Anon. Full-length film, 76,881 views, April 16th, 2020. See Out of the Shadows Put to Shame. Really? Well, that is a bold statement.
Yeah, right? That's kind of a high bar. What was it again, bud?
I'm going to actually put the title in the chat right now, so that everybody can go search for it. But I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then Methods, I will put it into our chat as well. Beautiful. I'll put it in the group chat. But yeah, it's called Cabal, Deep State, and Our Favorite Anon, 17 Anon. Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so let's go ahead and see if we can't find a little more information about okay. And just so everybody knows, I'm going to throw this Bibliotecapades blog entry into the chat as well, because the occult holidays do not end in April. I mean, it's all year long. So, I mean, when you pay attention to those dates and then you look at when events take place, I mean, they coincide and it gets spooky. Okay, so let's see.
Our buddy TikTok just sent me the email that you were looking for.
Thanks, TikTok.
He's a rock star. Shout out to TikTok, man. We might pick on him for his graphics that sometimes, go over our heads or whatever, but he can find things quick while we're talking about it. So I will drop that in our chat.
Yeah, TikTok is an excellent researcher. What's the date on that email?
Well, I'm sent you the link, and I'm opening it up real quick so we're on the same page.
Gotcha.
But he's saying this is what, and I'm assuming.
August 30th, it looks like. Oh, yeah, August 29th. Hang on, it's an email thread. It looks like it was sometime in August. Yes. Here it is, August 29th. Well, since we've got that date, let me look and see what happens in August. Well, that's actually an off day for the occultists. July 31st through August 1st is a great Sabbath festival, and then they take some couple weeks off, and then September 21st begins again with Mabon. And then the equinox on the 21st and the 22nd, and then Samhain, or Halloween, as it's known here in the West. Okay, so going back to Woody, I just, I've been thinking about that, thinking that he's flipped, because that really is a nice idea right there. There could be so many different things going on in this picture, though. Now I'm kind of looking at what's taking place in the background. Oh, the 17th letter of the alphabet is on one of the blocks in the back.
Say what?
The 17th letter of the alphabet. It has a Y on the side. Okay, so Y, K, Q, and S, I think. Those are the only ones that I can read. Maybe it's a T, but, there is definitely the 17 back there. There's actually two. There's two. There's one on its side, and then there's another one right side up. Huh. That's interesting.
It's interesting, which makes it even more possible that it's trolling.
Yeah.
But also, the fact that that's going on, and we do, because our movement definitely puts the most, heat on celebrities in general.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're very tired of seeing all this information that gets said relentlessly about them. Did you see the reports on the hundreds of thousands of comments attacking Bill Gates on his own Instagram?
I saw something about it, but tell me about it.
It was so the trolling and the pointing out stuff and just the epic, relentlessness of the movement. It was so much that reporters found the need to count the comments. Wow. And report how much it was happening because of how crazy it was. They just hadn't seen anything, I guess, like it. I mean, it was hundreds of thousands of comments just calling him out for everything.
Wow.
And to the point that you made the news. So once again, pat yourself on the back, guys. I mean, you guys made the news on how much you gave him hell.
Good job, Anon. Okay, Hey Jude says YouTube channel for video is Freedom Media. Okay. Then Looney Tune, random Mike Barra exposes Challenger explosion, astronaut still alive. Great dig to look up. Think Twitter accounts. Apparently they had twin siblings. This is something that I have looked into. Okay, so this is a theory that's been floating around for a while. Some of those people are not twins, but siblings. Other people are just people in a different profession that have the same name. I am suspect about the theory that those people on the Challenger shuttle are all alive. I'm willing to go ahead and look at another video, though, to see if Mike has any additional information. So I'll be happy to check it out. Tektra TA says, RP and M3, love you guys. You need to bring up news on oil. Negative $24 now.
That's great. I mean, this has got to be a battle on the petrodollar, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Destroying that part of the currency, battle. Because, I mean, this goes all the way back to, us, why we went over there to begin with, with the Bushes and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's all interconnected. And if we're trying to take down power structures and destroying the value of the petrodollar now would make sense. But I mean, somebody, and then I will say this, who follows this stuff a lot, been talking about it when we haven't, is Conscious Abe over on 5x5 Media. He really gets into it. And I would bet to say, and I'm not trying to challenge him, I would bet to say he covers this today on his channel. But yeah, go subscribe. I'll drop their link too, because he follows that stuff a lot.
Okay, so it says that WTI crude oil is at $18.27. Well, and then Brent crude oil is at $28.08. I don't know. So where are they getting the $0? Hold on. Oil price collapses to below zero. This is from the Los Angeles Times. Okay, in an unprecedented day of trading, the price for the May contracts wiped out all value, breaking every low for oil prices since 1946. The exchange where WTI futures trade said the contract would be allowed to price below zero. The extreme move showed just how oversupplied the U.S. oil market has become, with industrial and economic activity grinding to a halt. There, yeah, that's why. On Monday, a technical oddity exacerbated the price plunge as traders fled the May futures contract ahead of its Tuesday expiration. The following month's contract fell 12% to $22.05 a barrel, making the spread between the 2 months blow out more than $20. Wow. Well, that's very, very frightening to think that, they might be trying to collapse this on purpose. Chris Hawkins says, all right, Victoria, woohoo. And Alan061 says she was a child actor, Jumanji with Robin Williams. That's right, Kirsten Dunst was. She was also in Interview with a Vampire with Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt. That was the first time that I remember seeing her. Virginia Lee says, thanks for that occult holidays link, Red Pill. So Coachella falls on April dates, Lilith Fair and Burning Man on September dates, and that was just a quick dig.
There you go.
Yeah,
Great work.
I mean, they do this stuff on purpose. I mean, Burning Man, I mean, obviously at the festival itself, they burn an effigy of a human. Has anybody ever seen The Wicker Man? That classic movie, and then they remade it with Nicolas Cage, and it was so-so.
Yeah, no, I saw the newer one because I'm not as old as you.
Yeah.
I've seen the movie though.
Gold is at $16.57 now. Jesus, take the wheel says. Whoa. All right. We also have this article from Haaretz. I'm sure that everybody here is aware that Netanyahu has been trying to form a government for some time now. And methods, you said they had 3 stalemate elections?
Yeah, based off this article, they had 3 stalemate elections in between the two. And you remember Trump had invited them both over to talk with them because you would assume one of them would be the ultimate leader. But they decided to do a rotation schedule because they represent different parties and stuff. So they are doing a rotation schedule of 18 months. And we know Netanyahu's still dealing with the investigation allegations and stuff and, his corruption, quote unquote. But yeah, they're going to be doing a rotation cycle of who's going to be leader. And I think the other one will be a lower tier leader that answers to that one. Mm-hmm. But then they're going to be reversing every 18 months, at least until, I guess, after 2 terms. And then, it might change to something else. But that's just an interesting way to go about a split vote that happened 3 times.
Yeah. I mean, I also calls to mind the protests in Israel that took place over the weekend. People were standing 6 feet apart from each other, thousands of people. We didn't end up talking about it yesterday on Table of Titans episode of Comfy Sunday. But people in Israel, I think, are, fed up in the same way that people here in the United States are fed up. So hopefully with this coalition government that's been putting together, they're going to be able to bring the country back in the same way that we are. Now, Nick in the chat said, how dare I say that about Nicolas Cage? Don't get me wrong. I love my Nicolas Cage. Okay. He said some of the best gonzo performances that you can have in a movie, but he's also one of those actors who has obviously taken roles because he needed the money. He had to pay his taxes. But I love Nick Cage. Now, Nick Cage movie that came out, which was not a remake, but maybe more of like a sequel than a universe, was Bad Lieutenant. New Orleans, or the Port of Call one.
I remember that one.
Yeah, directed by Werner Herzog, who is an auteur and a wonderful documentary filmmaker in his own right. I don't know about him personally, so don't tear me apart in the chat. But That was a good movie. That was a good movie. Let's see. Virginia Lee, thanks again for those dates. Love in Texas says Tom Hanks, Rita Wilson, and Michelle Obama are having a couch party 2.0 tonight at 7:15 Eastern. I just saw it on Rita's Instagram to encourage people to register to vote. And I heard that Michael is going to be doing a show on PBS at like every day, like reading books to kids at 2 p.m. And
well,
also,
I guess they're kicking out all the transvestites from reading libraries, so I can just go ahead and televise it, I guess. But I also, and to all that point, they just raised, what was it, 150 million for the WHO by having all the celebrities. You guys see what's going on here, right? They're using the stars. They have the cover for slush money to come through and pay off the WHO to get this money. They're having to find different tactics and ways to go. But it's this old playbook. But they're using this situation now to move this money. You know what I mean? I highly doubt they were able to raise that much just off of some of these celebrities. I do believe a lot of it was just, cover for backdoor deals.
Puerto Rican Patriot just looks like they tagged me on Twitter and said, in my humble opinion, the petrodollar is now dead. It just occurred to me. If the petrodollar collapses and is dead, it's going to become necessary for the United States to change what is actually backing the dollar. This would be a perfect opportunity for them to implement the gold standard again. What do you guys think of that?
Yeah, man, follow the bouncing ball on it. I mean, that would make a lot of sense because they turned oil into such a currency of its own. Values of it and the trade markets and stuff allowed these people in power to control different places because you control the oil supply, you control a lot of what they can do. So you make deals to be able to pull off other stuff and all that. And, the Middle East and all that in particular, it's a lot of shadiness that does happen out there. A lot of great patriots out there too. But to have that go down, I mean, how many like trillionaires are sweating right now? The people that we don't even get to hear about that are just filthy rich in money that was tied to oil that's now dropping so hard.
So this looks like final figures. It's at negative $37.06. Okay, this is what I got here on my phone.
That drop is epic.
Negative 302.85%. So yeah, that certainly does look to me like the petrodollar is dead. It is completely necessary for us to go back to the gold-backed monetary system. I mean, I don't know what else they can do. I mean, what other strategic reserves of precious metals do we have? I mean, maybe silver and copper, but gold, it really is it. Thanks again, Love in Texas. And then Chris Hawkins says again, all right, Victoria, woohoo. Chris, yeah, thank you, buddy. I'm glad that you're excited. Victoria is going to be a great show. I know that I am excited myself. This is something that kind of, got to me. Due to the situation we find ourselves in now, with this economic crisis, so many people I know are losing their businesses or they're on the verge of, completely collapsing, mostly small businesses. And the fact that the Democrats are holding up additional funding for the Paycheck Protection Program, so many people are, just on the verge of total collapse. Nate Kane told me that they've instituted a moratorium on foreclosures and kicking people out if they can't pay their rent. Do you know anything about that, Methods? Did you hear about that?
No, I haven't. The last thing I heard is that they were doing a lot of like rent forgiveness type stuff when it comes to like commercially owned things for like apartments and things of that nature.
Okay.
But no, I hadn't heard anything like that.
Well, I mean, Nate usually gives me pretty good intel, so I think he's probably right on it. But I mean, unfortunately, with people losing their businesses and losing their livelihoods, we're looking at as a result of this shutdown. The suicide rates here in the United States increasing to 13 times the number of actual people passing as a result of this sickness. Now, I know someone who is employed in an office where there is a suicide hotline. I'm not going to say who you are unless you're in the chat and you want to go ahead and say that it's you. But I can tell you that the hotline itself is probably going to be looking at way increased numbers as a result of what's going on. Numbers are already way up as a result, but we can look back at 2008. After the collapse in 2008, the rate of suicide increased, by I don't know how much, but it was a lot more than normal. So I just want to let everybody know here in the chat, if you find yourself in a situation, please just know that that's not the way you need to go. If anything, just make sure that you're coming to, hang out with us here, because, hope and love and happiness, freedom, these things are all coming for everyone. And if we can transmit a little bit of that to you guys through these daily broadcasts, I really hope that you can accept it. Snake Doc 067 says Trump's plan is going to the gold standard. I agree, man. I totally agree. That's been the idea. Q-Wife Magalife says gas money down when my car is getting 3 weeks per gallon. Yeah, 3 weeks per gallon. Man, I haven't had to get gas in a long time. Now, Charles Pixley says if they commit harikari right now, it would be counted as CV-19. So there's that to fight against. Yes, do not give them anything else to inflate these numbers. Red Pills Warhawk, what's up, buddy? He says, much love, guys. Much love to you, my friend. Glad to see you. So yeah, the more I think about it, this is a perfect opportunity for gold to destroy the Fed. They have to back the currency with something, and if nobody needs the oil, then, go with what you got. Everybody needs gold, everybody wants gold, everybody loves gold. So if we have a strategic stockpile of gold and other precious metals, then let's go for it, President Trump. The time is now. We've nearly bankrupted the Fed. We get rid of the petrodollar. We're going to have to use something else. So let's do it. I'm ready for that. Let's see. Wait a second. Who's Wheezy? Who's saying that I'm doing something? Not doing such a thing. I don't know what you're talking about, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully, everybody understands what I'm saying here. I'm trying to give people some hope and trying to tell you that there is another way. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. Don't check out before the end, because we need each and every single one of you. That's what I'm saying. Let's see. There is also, in Montana, they're actually going to make people wear armbands so that they can tell, if you're safe, if it's safe for you to enter a place like a grocery store. And it made me think about, what happened in the 40s in Europe. That's the first thing that came to mind, having to wear the armband denoting who you are and, what's going on. And it's not a joke. Actually, it's Lisa Mae Crowley that had put this out. And Montana County demands people wear government-issued armbands to do business. And I've seen that certain other places are asking, Soldier American, don't make a permanent decision with, for a temporary problem. That's exactly it. So some places are not allowing you to do business at all unless you're wearing a mask. It's completely ridiculous. Our Cloaked Unseen World says, shadow banned, my email's rerouted. Comment on my channel so we can communicate. Our favorite Anon is inventor John Quincy St. Clair. See Pat's sat image, JFK grave. It's a Q. I have seen the JFK grave. Our Cloaked Unseen World, make sure you're sending it to redpill78@protonmail.com. I get emails all the time where people accidentally put in the incorrect. Oh, somebody's saying I'm saying something about Nicolas Cage. Yeah, Nicolas Cage, I think that he's done some good movies. That's really all that I'm saying.
Just to that point real quick, because I saw this kind of coming. We all grew up on movies, right? Like a lot of us watch them. And I know now with everything going on, we're kind of looking back and we're kind of disgusted that we even did. But we did enjoy them. We can have conversations about them. He's not endorsing Nicolas Cage.
No.
It's more so just like, those were the kind of movies that he enjoyed growing up.
Yeah.
During the times that he was just watching movies for the sake of watching movies. Now, I haven't sat and really watched a movie, especially a new one, in probably a year.
It's been over that for me too.
Yeah, but we all use references. Admiral Rogers' favorite thing to do is to talk about movies, right?
Yep.
So it is what it is. But no, he's not endorsing Hollywood by any means.
Yeah. Don't get it twisted, gang. But yeah, to your point, in the drops, movies get referenced all the time. It's part of popular culture and it's kind of inescapable. So, I'm not saying anything positive or negative about Hollywood. I've definitely spoken negatively about it here on the channel many, many times. So please Let's be friends. Don't worry about it. Hey Jude says, my tomahawk just arrived. It's beautiful. Thank you, Warhawk. Yeah, buddy. Thank you very much. Then Gabriella Paulini has joined as a member. Also, Barefoot No More has also joined as a member. Thank you guys both. We appreciate you. I'm also working on some incredible guests coming up in the next couple of weeks, obviously on Comfy Sunday, but also on the Saturday night shows, you guys. So please don't go anywhere. Obviously, we're going to be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. for our regular episode of Quarantime, and I'm going to be coming back in Plaid at 6 p.m. for my daily news roundup. Methods, you want to say anything special to the audience?
No, just once again, thanks for hanging out, everybody, and make sure you click that like button. We're pretty close to about 6,000 people, man, which has kind of been the standard amount, and we're grateful that shows a dedicated, hangout space, because we're all family. We try to hang out and just spend this time with y'all. So we appreciate everybody hanging out with us. Just on your way out the door, click that like button if you can. Share this, share this live stream or share tomorrow's if you can. Help us out, because we just want to give that hour to everybody, especially with him talking about the stuff about people being depressed and going through all these things. It's just that hour to hear two guys cover some news stuff, give our opinions, and you can hear our energy, because this is how we truly feel. And hopefully you guys can resonate with that and find a little bit better part of your day. We are going to get through this. We can already see, lack of a better term, light at the end of the tunnel here with states wanting to open. Just thanks again, guys. We love you.
Yeah, 100%. All of those sentiments echoed in my own heart. Beach Girl says, your thoughts on who our favorite Anon is. The way military is also very Christian-based, leading and how they come together. Your thoughts is incredible. Well, I think that trying to identify who they are specifically is unnecessary, so that's why we don't ever do it here. But I mean, if I had to pin it down to a group, I would say that obviously the president's involved and directly, and obviously it's some level of military intelligence. We may have more to speak on that in the future. Navy vet Vincent Kennedy just tweeted, destroy petrodollar and roll in gold and free energy. I sure hope that that's the case, guys. We're going to be keeping a careful eye on what's going on with the petrodollar. Charlie Echo joining as a member in the last minute. We love you guys so much. Thank you for spending this hour with us, and we will be back again tomorrow for another edition of Quarantine. Good luck, everyone, and God bless.